and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara O'Brien. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Susan Calman and Rob Beckett, Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Hal Cruttenden. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Susan, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
No problem at all. Politics is the category. The answer is 2. What is the question?
How many celebrities from the 1970s is it still OK for me to like?
A very provisional number, that. Investigation is still ongoing. Yes.
Is it what was the population in God's first census?
Is it the number of times Dolly Parton's face moved whilst she was...
Hey.
Are you loving the dolly here, you?
You can attack anything on this show, but you do not attack Dolly Parton. You're coming to my house and attack Dolly Parton between the hours of 9 and 5.
Is it what most Glastonbury goers dread doing the most?
Is it the number of millibands it takes to ruin a party?
Is it which number most looks like a man kneeling to vomit in a lavatory?
Is it the number of tracks on a CD of the Cheeky Girls Best Of compilation?
Is it the number of footballers you can bite before you get really told off?
Is it if Jeremy Kyle and Jeremy Clarkson went into a room, how many people in that room would be pricks called Jeremy?
Surely this is Desmond Tutu's middle name.
Ed, move to the correct answer if you can, please.
Is it what's the highest number Ranulph Fiennes can count to? I wouldn't finish that one.
Is it the votes against Juncker?
Juncker works for me. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It is essentially votes against Juncker. Very well. Yes, the question I was looking for was how many European leaders voted against Jean-Claude Juncker for President of the European Commission? This is the news that at a summit in Brussels, David Cameron was only able to persuade one other European leader, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, to join him in voting against Juncker, with 26 voting for it. 26-2 defeat for Cameron.
2016, nobody was impressed with that. The only person who was impressed with that was Roy Hodgson, who thought getting 2 was a great result against a tough European team.
We can't even get people to vote for us in Eurovision. How are we going to in actual politics?
What has been the reaction to Cameron among the European press?
They call him the Wayne Rooney of the election thing, which is...
And they didn't mean that in a good way. They didn't mean in a kind of a...
No, they meant it because Wayne Rooney is also very much in favour of decentralisation from Brussels.
Cameron's threat was that this will make it more likely that Britain will leave the EU. And there is a general ramping up, you can see, of anti-EU sentiment. Obviously, we saw it during the European elections. Only this week, the Daily Express ran this headline, this incredible... 150 new EU laws ruining Britain. You know, I mean, you just go, oh, my God, what are these laws that are ruining Britain? And they put a little box of 8 of the ones they thought they were most likely to ruin Britain. I'm just going to read a couple of them now, and you can just go, oh, my God, the country's got the bets. It's ruined now. One of them was, it will be illegal to ship a live dog, cat or ferret without a health certificate signed by a vet. That strikes at the very heart, which is what Britain is for me. The people's ability to bring their ferret just on a whim. Do you know what? Fit, little skinny thing. I'm going to bring you to see Europe, OK? Stop right away. Another one that's ruining Britain, these laws will set out the difference between fruit juice from concentrate and concentrated fruit juice. Now, that makes perfect sense. Fruit juice from concentrated is the thing you can drink. Concentrated fruit juice is the bit you have to put water to turn it into fruit juice from concentrate, right? It is about time this country learned the difference, because I'm sick of accidentally pouring Ribena and then staring at it going, have I diluted this enough? Oh, somebody's going to taste this. I'm not going to taste this. This could be death in a cup. Oh, no. Meanwhile, by the way, which Conservative campaign backfired this weekend?
This was getting Eric Pickles to wear lycra.
This was the campaign to try and see how many working-class Tory MPs they could find.
Yes.
And they could only find 14 out of 300 that they thought could be considered working class, which was slightly more than the Labour Party could manage.
I'm working class and I'm a Tory. I'm Taurus. Taurus. Sorry.
The problem is that for most Tories, I think hardship is going to Durham University. That's like the worst thing that
That's the thing, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter, you know, if they're working class background or not, if what the policies are. I don't care if somebody goes, we don't give a shit about the NHS. You know, I don't think, oh, well, you're working class, so...
You have Dick
that
Van
was so
Dyke
much
sang-
better. Yeah, exactly.
Sang a cheery song about
We're
privatising.
shutting you all down.
Shimmy.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Let's not get involved in doing each other's accents, Ramesh.
Yeah.
Because that's going to look like a lot worse for me.
But that's the thing, you know, it'd be like, you know, constantly rebrand the Tories as, like, a working-class party. It would be like me doing that, just coming on and playing the immigrant vote, going, oh, hello, Dad, so glad to Thank you so much for having me on, I'm very grateful. You can't suddenly stop pulling that out.
I don't know why you can't be doing that. Don't rock the
it's
boat,
fine, 'cause-
right?
But then I could do you, not literally, Rob. Don't get excited. Barking up the wrong tree, sweetie. I'm from London.
Among your many gifts, an ear for accent.
Darling! Oh, my darling!
Why is it so slow? It's like I'm coming round from an operation.
Oh, Mum, where's the man? I'm extra large. When would it be better?
I've got to get up that chimney.
To me, Rob, that is exactly what you sound like.
Is this you trying to make
Sense a
sure
little
that
bit of tension on my team.
To be honest, I hesitate to call it a team. And, Can we please get back to the Tories? I think rather than
Well, there was this Tory
festering.
MP, David Amess, who has apparently been doing all of the research into Tory working-class MPs. He said he was working class because he didn't have a telephone when he was growing up. He had to lean out the window and shout very loudly. And I still have to do that in my home. That's just due to the level of reception that I get from O2.
I didn't know, like, I bang on about being working class, but I didn't know Radio 4 existed until I was asked to be on it. I thought... No, because I thought it was one of them new ones, like One Extra or the Asian Network or something like that. You know, when they put on the digital one.
Do you know what's happening here, though? I didn't mean to be rude. You sound really lovely. It's almost... we're like opposites. It's like, you know, attract. We could end up together.
This could be like Katie Price and Peter Andre on the jungle thing.
Maybe a spin-off on BBC Three of how this relationship is going. In other news, under proposed health guidelines, what could we see banished from our diets?
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yes. Sugar's very, very bad for you. And there's a lot of sugar in fizzy drinks.
Your daily requirement of sugar is in one single can of Coke. This was released, figures released by the Department of... You already know this. Who is the Minister of... Come on, do we have to keep telling you this stuff? Yeah. Just put it down.
It is a fruit juice problem, isn't it? Because fruit juice apparently contains as much sugar as fizzy drink. So, in which case, the man from Del Monte, he'd say, oh, shit.
I'm just thinking that I always knew OJ was a killer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, I'm just going to stop my stopwatch on that at 14 years.
But what I love about that is how you could put that straight on Dave. The problem with just drinking water is it just tastes like your mouth, doesn't it? I don't want to taste my mouth.
They want to ban fizzy drink. I don't know how they're going to come into my house and stop me doing it, but I think if they ban it and make me drink water, then the opposite should apply. And when I go swimming, I should be allowed to swim in, like, Fanta.
The thing is that they give you all these warnings, but, like, I can't, you know, I just ignore it because the warnings aren't strong enough. Like, I can't stop smoking, for example. You know, like, they tell you all these bad things, like heart disease, lung disease, I can't stop. Like, they could tell me, like, they were going to take my children away if I didn't stop smoking. I'd, like, cut down to 10.
20% of kids, they reckon now, are obese by the time they leave junior school aged 11. So somebody needs to tell them that big school is just a name. It's not a description they have to live up to.
It's the language they use. It's a paper thing, isn't it? Because the headline that I saw said that the government have declared war on sugar. It's not really a war, is it? Nobody's gone, well, this morning we wrote to Tate and Lyle. No response has been forthcoming. I'm afraid to tell you from this moment, we are at war with sugar. There is no war.
We're always using this term, war on drugs. We've had, war on sugar, war on drugs. And actually, you look at those two things, that's two opposite things. Sugar makes kids fat, drugs make kids thin. Maybe there's some middle ground. In a family situation, smack can be a punishment and a reward.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan and Andy. Now we play a round called Gag of Thrones. This game involves Rob and Hal, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First topic is holidays. Who wants to come in that?
Okay.
Rob.
I love an holiday. I'm terrible at the languages, though, when I go away. Do you know what I mean? I still say jalapeno. I know it's jalapeno, but I don't speak English properly. I don't want to start having a go at Mexican. Do you know what I mean? I like getting on the plane. The plane's fun. I still love the little symbol that says no smoking. I was like, why have they still got that there? When was the last time we saw someone trying to smoke on a plane? They might as well have no barbecues up there. I've never seen anyone on a plane like, sorry, sir, no smoking. Since when? I get worried on a plane with a little ashtray. I think, how old's this plane? I went to Barcelona recently with the in-laws and my girlfriend. They're a bit posh and stuff. They go out for dinner and I've got a bit of a basic palate. They're all eating like weird food. They went, oh, Rob, do you want some cured meats? I was like, depends what was wrong with it in the first place. I don't do paella either. It's just busy rice, isn't it? It's a special fried rice that's got well out of hand. The thing is, well, in Barcelona, what's weird is they try and sell you drugs late at night. Well, it's really wild, because I was walking along and I was a bit hungry, so I hadn't eaten any dinner, and this bloke came up, he was like, coke, weed, pills? I was like, no, thanks, mate, I'm after a bit of KFC. Right? He goes, KFC? I've got a bit of that. I was like, no, you haven't, mate. Not unless you've got a deep fat fry in your bum bag. As I go to walk off, he whips out a little plastic bag of powdery stuff like, here it is, KFC. I'm like, yeah, of course it is, mate. And I walk off. 10 minutes later, I think to myself, what if that was a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices?
Thank you very much, Rob. OK, that'll leave us with Hal. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel again. And the subject is marriage. Wait.
Right. I have been married 14 years. I know, I look too young. People say silly things when you've been married a certain amount of time. If you say, oh, you've been married 14 years, people say things like, oh, you get less for murder. You don't. I've checked. Why do people compare marriage to prison as well? There's far more sex in prison, isn't there? I am joking, obviously. My wife is absolutely my best friend. My best friend in the world, she is. Oh, obviously, I'm not her best friend. No, Lisa's her best friend. But we've got 2 children as well, 2 girls, thank God, because I'd be rubbish with boys, wouldn't I? I'd be right. Imagine a little boy coming home from school saying, Daddy, Billy Smith says I've got to bring £2 to school every day, or else I'm going to get a kicking. I'm like, look, calm down. Ask Billy if we can set up some sort of direct debit, whatever's easiest for him. But my daughters worry about me. I know that's wrong. My oldest daughter, she came up to me when she was about 8, she did this, and this is absolutely true, came up to me very seriously and said, Daddy, Are you gay? My mum was always convinced I was gay. I was to bring my wife and kids over to dinner. My mum would be going, "Oh, still living in denial." Shut up, mum. When I was 16, I brought my first proper girlfriend home, and I said to my mum, "Can she stay over in my room?" My mum was like, "OK." But don't stay up all night talking about boys.
OK, very good. Point to Hal there. Well done. Thank you very much. Lovely. Come and sit down. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
Is it from the Uruguayan Daily News? Shoulder-wielding thug hurts our hero's precious tooth enamel.
Is it 3 men trying to make up the French flag and having a massive argument about it?
Is it the goalkeeper, the bloke in red, going, "I have an itch, just there. There, just on the back of my knee, there. Just there, let's go."
Is it Suarez imagines a half-time orange?
Is it England's opponent plays sitting down to give England a chance?
And you know it actually is.
Is it the Luis Suarez bite?
Of course it is. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rob Beckett. Yes, of course, it's Luis Suarez, who has been banned from all football-related activity for 4 months after FIFA found him guilty of biting Italian opponent Giorgio Chiellini. That's all. That's collecting stickers. That's doing keepy uppy. If he goes online to play FIFA, it'll go no. And it'll just stop him. Nothing. Nothing.
He gets out of the team photo, he gets out of training. So basically, if you bite people, you get out of doing stuff. So if I bit my mother-in-law, can I get out of that christening on Sunday?
I can imagine so. So his argument in his defence was, I lost my balance, falling on top of my opponent, hitting my face against him. It was at that point in which my penis entered the vacuum cleaner. Why I'm in
yours as well.
in this accident and emergency room.
I thought it was quite erotic because it was just... It was, I mean, for me, when I've bitten people in the past...
Yes.
I would bite my initials into the back of the person that I was... What's wrong with that? It just sort of... Just
What are you, Zorro?
No, but you would just... As they were sleeping,
You'd
just
mark
gently...
them. Gently know your initials into them.
How heavily sedated were these partners of yours?
I'm just a little cockney, getting bit on the back.
All I'm saying is that actually, not since Top Gun have I seen such a homoerotic scene.
It was
as
quite...
Suarez
I'll give you that. Because he came from nowhere and then came in and he didn't quite nuzzle the man, it has to be said.
He's doing nothing for people with big teeth, is he?
I think you've got lovely teeth.
You have
though.
lovely teeth.
Thanks.
Yeah.
But when you was at school and you had big teeth, people were like, "Oh, you're going to bite me." But now, yeah.
Loads of people actually gathered outside his house, didn't they? Loads of fans gathered outside his house. Because apparently it's very easy to spot his house, because there's a sign on the gate which says, "The dog is the least of your worries."
If he's not allowed to take part in any football-related activity, he could actually just come and play for England, couldn't he?
Did you see that the Uruguayan head of state, he came out, didn't he, in support of
That was
Suarez?
embarrassing, yeah.
What did he say? He said FIFA are a bunch of old bastards. That's interesting for a head of state, isn't it? You wouldn't expect the Queen to come out and go, "Well, Sepp Blatter, what a tosser he is."
He looked over from the balcony going, "Wanker!"
What sort of reception did the England players get on their return?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Got one man and a dog turned up.
The crowds turned out. This is at the airport where the England players...
It's not that surprising that nobody showed up. The England team spent almost as long in baggage reclaim as they did in the group stages.
She's not even a fan, that one. She's the official that looks for illegally shipped ferrets.
I got quoted in The Sun during the week because I tweeted midway through, I think it was South Korea's last group game, because I was just sick of every time we just cut to another unfeasibly glamorous people who've clearly been put in by FIFA to create this image of, yeah, come to FIFA World Cup events. It's where fun people hang out. Rather than what football matches probably are, which is fat blokes from Newcastle stripped to their waist in December going, oh! And the amount of people who got really angry at me for taking our women away.
So basically, you irritated loads of people last week, and now you're mentioning it again so as you can irritate them one more time.
It was quite funny to watch them get angry about it.
What annoys me is when it's like a penalty shootout and then they focus in on the crowd and they're all worried. Oh, my God, we can go to the World Cup. And then go, big screen! It's just an amazing clip of the linesman. Have you seen that?
No.
It's on the internet where the linesman, he's on the big screen, he's got his hat kind like that, and then you see him just look like that, and he goes... He's all laughing.
The thing is, it just adds a pressure that you... I don't know how everyone else watches the football, but I enjoy the football immensely, and especially when, you know, all day, and you just make yourself comfortable, so it's pants and vest, it's a die-hard outfit, and you dress like John McClane. You've got several tubs of Pringles, so you can alternate between them, because I can fit my whole fist in a Pringles. And... so you're there, you've got crisps on you, the cat's licking off your face, and you're just lying. And then on the screen there's this beautiful Brazilian woman like, ooh, and you're like, fuck you, just fuck you.
I agree. I entirely agree. It also it creates a false impression. And also, one of the joys of watching sport, all sport, is half that room are really unhappy. I want to see the unhappy one. Show me the child whose face got painted, now crying it off. I want to watch in sport. Not like, hey, we're so beautiful. That's why I tune in. Right, and you're the tearful scouser. That's football. The FIFA where they're like, oh, junk, 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 junk. No, that's not football. That's not sport at all. At the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way to the performance area, please. I read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. The first subject tonight is things a sports commentator would never say.
Apologies, the sport you're watching is apparently squash, and not, as I said earlier, tennis in prison.
Oh, I am sorry, you don't need a lip reader to see what he said after that challenge. He said, fuck off.
180! This man is rubbish at golf.
Meow! 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 He's clearly hurt his knee.
Italy have had 3 shots in the second half, tetanus, rabies and hepatitis.
And here come the Cockless 4, so the women's tennis doubles can begin.
And as we wait for the final of the butterfly, it's hard to believe that just yesterday all these competitors were still caterpillars.
And there's a new event here at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Yes, get ready for shouting at your own reflection in a shop window.
Wow, unbelievable service. 3 full bars on T-Mobile.
And there's been a nasty clash in the Nigeria-Brazil game. Lime green with yellow.
For those of you who want to watch the equestrian events, get your butler to press the red button now.
Welcome to the Nazi Pro-Am golf tournament. Hitler, as usual, is in the bunker.
Wayne Rooney has managed the full 90. Previously, his eldest was 76.
And And the Queen takes the bishop. This is turning out to be quite the royal wedding.
And Suarez is being substituted. He's not injured, he's just full.
What an incredible backhand there from the Qatari president.
All right, the next subject is unlikely lines from a thriller.
We meet at last, Mr. Bond. I'm from the Child Support Agency.
I will look for you. I will find you. And when I do, you count to 10 and try and find me.
The story about the man that was killed getting a blowjob. Die Hard.
I have your wife. And unless you give me $15 million, I will give her back to you.
Someone in here is the killer. Is it John? Is it Sally? Or is it that massive bear?
Yeah, it's definitely semen.
OK, let me talk to the Navy SEALs. Oink, oink.
They were strangers on a train, and they remained that way because they were British.
The cause of death is unknown, but his last words were, "Parachutes are for pussy!"
There's a mole in our organisation. Toad, Ratty, Badger. Any idea who it might be?
You are too late. Too late. Look at the timer. In 15 seconds, my ready meal will be ready.
Say hello to my little friend, Alan. Hello.
The truth! You can't handle the truth! So thank you for signing up to the Mail Online websites.
And that was the horrible moment that the comedian realised it wasn't a good thing to look like an Asian Rolf Harris.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Susan and Andy! That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Susan Calvin and Rob Beckett. Commiserations to Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Hal Crittenden. Thanks for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night. Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Tiff Stevenson and Joshua Whitcomb, Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Tiff, which category would you like?
I'll go for home news.
OK, your category is home news. The answer is 339 miles. What is the question?
Is it how far the Proclaimers got before they went, nah, she's not worth it?
If Scotland votes yes to independence, how high should they build the new Hadrian's Wall?
Is it what distance from a roundabout is too soon to slow down?
Is it what distance is the nearest that the HS2 route goes to David Cameron's house?
Is it if you turn on Grindr in Russia, where is your closest match?
What's the distance between Bjork and reality?
Is it how long can a lorry driver go without needing a shit? That's an average. That's an average. That's not just a
He's not like a microwave oven. Doesn't go ding.
Is it how far you have to walk to complete a full circuit of IKEA?
Is it if you travel 340 miles by megabus, for how long are you regretting that decision?
Hey, I run a very good bus company. I won't hear a word of that.
Is it how much closer has the Islamic Caliphate got in the last 5 minutes? That was satirical. It simply didn't work.
Because the reason it didn't work is because you're sitting next to somebody who looks so much like he could be a Muslim. People are nervous.
I'm not sure.
I should have laughed, then you guys would have been all right.
Is the answer how far did the Tour de France go through Britain this week?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Josh. Really good. Very well. Yes. The question I was looking for was, what's the total distance of the 3 British stages of this year's Tour de France, which began in Yorkshire at the weekend? Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Exciting. Yeah. I enjoyed coming through London. I thought that was to show British cycling its best, they should probably have, when they got to central London, had to get a Boris bike.
It's a bit strange, isn't it, that they've now gone to France. So the 4th stage is in France, and they've gone to France, and they've gone by train or ferry. When the obvious answer is send them across the channel on a pedalo.
It's exciting, because it was in Yorkshire, but it still wasn't very Yorkshire. There was part of me that was hoping on the final descent they'd be overtaken by the guy from Last of the Summer Wine in a bath.
I was playing the Hovis music.
Yeah. He's a very happy Yorkshire, wasn't it? I mean, that's something a lot of people's traditional view of Yorkshire, you know, that they would have all sat and watched it go past and then gone, yeah.
A nice clash of cultures, though, isn't it? I like the idea of Yorkshire people with French people, and we're hoping for, like, a big romance to bloom, where I've got a Yorkshire woman chatting up a French cyclist. Hey up, love, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? That would be amazing. Pet.
Basically, wasn't it? It was York down to Sheffield, then it was bus to Cambridge, then cycle to London. A very familiar journey if you've ever tried to catch a train on a Sunday.
What I like about it is they've sort of given French names to stuff, but then you still have, like, Yorkshire bits in. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got, like, the Buttertubs Pass has become Côte de Buttertubs. Like, it's quality. It's like when you hear, like, when I hear my family sort of speaking in their mother tongue, you sort of... We talk, and then you have to throw in an English word, like, "En la madre, pretty much, nalla, nalla, nakavanga, King's Cross St Pancras."
You think, you know, they did change all the names into French to get publicity, so all the pubs changed names, didn't they? All the pubs throughout Yorkshire changed that, and you just into French. And you think, how cross was the manager of Pret-a-Manger in Harrogate?
Did you see one of the pubs that changed its name was called the Yew Tree? Now, I think they should consider a name change anyway in that pub.
I mean, it's been a huge topic, but I wouldn't have teamed a pub around it. I mean, Planet Hollywood was an unpleasant visit at the best of times, but the Yew Tree is a genuine... What family fun at the Yew Tree? I don't think so.
I just like the fact that you got to see somebody on a bike with a drug problem who hadn't just stolen my mobile phone.
Watching the BBC coverage on that first day, though, they described... They said, oh, there's 2.5 million people out in Yorkshire, and they described in many areas that the crowds were dense. Now, I thought that was unnecessary and somewhat regionalist myself.
Well, I watched the coverage of it coming into London, and although, you know, it stopped being in Yorkshire, but the commentator was incredibly Yorkshire, because he went, when they were commentating and looking at the different places in London they could see, and the bloke went, "There's the Shard. The Shard was finished just in time for the Olympic Games. You can go right to the top of the Shard. It's very expensive in my..."
If you're an avid fan of the Tour de France, as I am, as they go on, there's always a helicopter shot to break up just the shots of the cyclists of whatever local chateaus there are, like whatever, which they sort of did a version of. But there's one shot of Trafalgar Square, and the camera of the helicopter slowly rotating around Nelson's column, and you're going, I would like to hear the French commentary. Nobody knows who this man is. Yes, what, by the way, endangered the safety of riders during the stages?
This was people taking selfies, and they basically, obviously, they sort of would have their back to the peloton, and so they couldn't actually see them coming. And you think it's just a new form of natural selection, basically, isn't it? Well, wasn't there a lad who got a selfie with the Queen?
Yes, and the Queen visited Belfast a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, and it was relatively... He did it really smoothly. I mean, you'd hardly spot it happening. Here's a picture of it here. That's amazing. The picture you want is what that guy behind him is about to do now.
Belfast isn't the place to suddenly jump out at a member of the Royals, though, is it? That's a very brave move.
In other news... what medical problem has David Cameron warned the world about this week?
Posh twat syndrome.
This is superbugs that are resistant to the current crop of antibiotics, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Resistant in a proper medical sense, rather than resistant to kind of oh, I'm not fond of it.
Apparently the reason bacteria have got so much worse is that all the good bacteria have been put into yoghurt.
So he said it's going to send medicine back to the Dark Ages.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not going to go to the doctor. If I turn up with athlete's foot and end up getting burnt as a witch, I'm not getting involved.
I mean, it'd be your only choice. I mean, the guy who farms leeches is going, well. You've all come crawling back now, haven't you, with your infections and whatnot?
He has had probably quite a bad few years, the guy that farms leeches, darling.
It's been a rough 300 years or so since the madness of George III. That, you know, but since, you know, he's still waiting with his... just stroking the leeches. Oh, yes. They shall come back to us. No, I do not let the leech sit on my arm. The leech is stuck to my arm. I can't get the leech off my arm.
The thing that worries me about going back to the Dark Ages is, if you go back to the Middle Ages with medicine, the thing that really worries me is keyhole surgery. Have you seen the size of a medieval keyhole?
The thing is, I think everybody's known this, haven't they? Like that doctors prescribe antibiotics like too much. Like every time you go to the doctor, like I feel fluey, antibiotics. My leg hurts. My leg hurts, antibiotics. I think that I'm developing a bacteria that's resistant to antibiotics.
Tell you what, if I'd done that impression, it would have got a lot different reaction.
It would have been fine, because it would have gone...
You have the power of life or death, whether you do that.
And I could end any of you. I remember that.
There was... You're right, though, in... I'm not now sucking up to you. He's right, this is not a new thing. The timing of Cameron getting on board does feel a bit like he did I've got a press conference and all hands shoot up and goes, what about Coulson? What about Coulson? What about Coulson? And Cameron went, Coulson? People are dying, people.
He brought it up, didn't he? He said he brought up antibiotic-resistant superbugs at the last G7 meeting, and apparently Vladimir Putin was very interested in buying some. So...
how has the scientist in America been putting the world at risk?
Oh, now, he's kind of mutated a strain of bird flu, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yes.
To make it it's transmissible now between bird and human. It's a thing we've tried to avoid.
No, it's not. It's not transmissible between bird and human. It's transmissible between duck and ferret.
That's a pub in Yorkshire.
It is, yeah.
I'm concerned this man has never seen a zombie film, because this is how they all start.
They all begin with this. They all begin with this, yeah.
Didn't they compare it to a film, though? There's Contagion.
Actually, it was in one of the papers, and an example, they give two historical examples of a viral infection. There was Spanish flu, which killed 57 million, and the film Contagion, in which 26 million people died. And you're going, no, the film Contagion, nobody actually died. That didn't happen. That was all fictional. You might as well say it uses a laser similar to the one used in the Death Star, which blew up the planet all around.
If they wanted to compare it to a film that brought suffering to millions, they should have compared it to that one about Princess Monaco of Kent. No, is that her name? Princess Monaco. I don't know her fucking name. I just know it was a terrible film.
Princess Grace of Monaco. Princess Monaco of Kent.
Your wife works in medicine, doesn't she? She's a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you reckon this is true? Do you reckon you can tell what someone's going to be like in bed depending on which area of medicine they work in, right? Because you've got, like, the paramedics. This could end badly. You've got the paramedics, they like a quick in and out, and then you've got the GPs, they cover a lot of the body, but they don't know what they're doing. And then you've got the surgeons who like to go and have a rummage around and then leave something behind that shouldn't be there.
Often, if you sleep with a GP and you go, well, is there any chance we could do something special? I said, no, I will have to refer you to a consultant for that. At the end of that round, the points go to Romish, you and Gary! Now we play a round called Tour de France. This game involves Tiff and Gary, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is dating.
OK, I'll take that.
OK, Tiff.
I'm pretty glad I'm not single anymore, because I'm 36, so I'm at that age where I've had to start saying to guys, seriously, do you mind not talking to my face? They're right here. Actually, more like here now. I'm not saying guys don't approach me anymore in bars, they do, but it is to get around me. I had a guy come up to me recently in a nightclub and he went, excuse me, and I went, yes. And he went, no, just excuse me. So I don't really understand, though, the whole objectification of women, like, until I missed it, right? But I always, you know, I don't think I've missed sexism, but that's what getting older does. Because I was always confused by hearing guys talk about women in bars, you know, and objectifying them, going, are you a boobs guy or are you a bum guy? Are you a boobs guy or are you a bum guy? And as a woman, that's really offensive, right? Because women, we don't sit around going, are you a balls girl? Are you a penis girl? Are you a balls girl or are you a penis girl? And I'll tell you why that is. That is because no woman in the history of the world has ever said, do you know what? I'm just a balls girl, me. Just really love a pair of balls. I just love a pair of balls. I like how they're dry and clammy at the same time. Wrinkly but weirdly smooth. Red and brown. I like moving them around in my hand like they're Chinese meditation balls.
OK, that leaves us with Gary. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is health.
The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that kind of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. I was thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments during the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. Sheriff Dyslexic Society was recently given an OBE. He said, what's the point? I can't play the bloody thing. I live next door to a family of anorexic agoraphobics. Yeah, but they've got a few skeletons in the closet. A friend of mine's been suffering from paranoid delusions and now he thinks he's a chocolate orange. I worry he's going to be sectioned. Poor Terry. I thought PPI was just something you could get if you didn't wear goggles at the swimming baths. I bought an alcoholic ginger beer. He wasn't pleased. I once met a girl who confused a tube of KY jelly with superglue. I asked how it happened, but sadly her lips were sealed. Thank you.
Very good. Well done to both of you. Points there for Tiffany Stapleton. Come back to Dan. Our next round is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So, what's going on here?
Is this when they got the news Cliff Richard had been caught in traffic?
Are they, in fact, watching Prince Philip trying to talk to the Williams sisters?
Is it news in from the palace, the Queen is dead?
What, to get their news from... Oh, God, I hadn't heard that story appear during the week. You think it would have got more coverage than a passing reference on Mock the Week.
Have they just seen themselves on the giant screen?
Have Kate and Wills hired private detectives to spy on each other?
Have they just found out that the royal premiere of Mrs Brown's Boys has been cancelled?
I think I know what it is. They have just witnessed Princess Monaco of Kent.
Finally she's returned.
It's a new thing where they do, like, public executions of illegal immigrants.
Do you laugh?
Do you laugh,
Ron?
Oh, sorry. I found that good. That was OK.
And you know what it actually is?
I think they're at Wimbledon, aren't they?
Yes, they are at Wimbledon. Thank you very, very much. Hugh, of course, at Wimbledon. Yes, of course. This is a picture of Prince William and Kate Middleton cheering on Roger Federer before he was defeated by Novak Djokovic in the men's Wimbledon final. Seven-time champion Federer lost in 5 sets to Djokovic in a gripping match that lasted nearly 4 hours.
He won, he ate the grass, or, as some people were saying, he lost his balance and hit the court with his teeth. That was...
He said the grass was the best meal he'd ever had, which... I mean, I've not tried Serbian food, but it must be. Also, if he ever wins on clay, it's going to be an absolute horror show, isn't it?
Is that what they mean when they say a tennis player's seeded?
He looks like he's getting ready to get seeded right now.
It's pretty dangerous with Boris Becker there and the crowd shouting, Roger, Roger. It's kind of dangerous. He's going to take that as an instruction and start looking for a waitress, isn't it?
He's scary looking now, isn't he, Becker? He looks like he's having a permanent allergic reaction to a bee sting. He's sort of like a boiled ham in a wig. He's...
It was lucky they finished when they did, because, I mean, the smell of burning in the players' box. People going, we've got to get Boris out of the sunshine. Either that or brush him with a bit of egg. We've got to do something.
I like how after he won, he dedicated the prize to his future wife and future baby, and all the audience went, oh, that's so sweet, apart from his current wife and current baby.
It was obviously sad that Murray got knocked out in the quarter-final. He was effing and blinding, wasn't he? You know, 5 minutes before the bloody game, and people were saying they were shocked by him. But let's face it, a Scotsman walking around talking to themselves, shouting expletives to nobody in particular, it's not really that much of a shock, is it?
With Murray, there's always that thing, there's always that sort of age-old joke where when he's winning he's British and when he's losing he's Scottish. And this time he got battered, and you can't get more Scottish than that.
When, that'll be,
sorry if you're watching.
That'll be, Andy Murray, big fan of the show. OK. What was special with the women's final this year?
It was short.
It was quite
Weird,
brief.
isn't it? Because it's normally the men that are quicker. Hello! That just happened.
There was Eugenie Bouchard.
Eugenie Bouchard.
Yeah, she made it into the final, and she's named after the royal family, her and her twin sister Beatrice,
Yes,
which is why now she spends her entire life flying around the world earning large amounts of money for just doing a few hours' work each week.
It has to be actual members of the royal family, though, which is why she doesn't have a brother called Harry.
Yeah. Or an auntie called Monaco of Kent.
Is this episode going to end up with all of us hung for treason?
Or me carried through the streets of Dublin. In other news, what did French police recently lose at Marseille Airport?
A giant Toblerone.
This is fantastic. They did. They were doing a security test, weren't they, where they got sniffer dogs to find explosives, Semtex, that they had hidden, and the dogs couldn't find the explosives, and then the policeman who'd hidden the explosives couldn't remember where they'd hidden them.
If a sniffer dog can't sniff out the bomb, then that's just a dog.
I think probably
that is a tough thing to turn to a dog and like take the badge off a dog. You're just demoted to a dog. You're off the force.
This explosive they lost, I gather it was called C4.
C4, yeah.
Which presumably means they got another chance to find it again an hour later on C4+1.
I suspect the problem, honestly, with the sniffer dog was that it had been sniffing drugs all afternoon, couldn't remember what explosives smelt like. You know?
I'm supposed to be looking for some C4, man, but I am off my tits, bruv, I tell ya. This has been the best day ever.
Do you want a screenplay? Yeah, it's about a dog. It's about a dog who's a sniffer dog and has lots of adventures. Oh, it's really good. I worked on it for a long time, actually. It's like amazing. We should do this more. We should do this more. This is great. Apparently, that's what it's like. OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Josh, Tiff and Andy. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at the dentist.
I think you may have to wear braces. It's just that you're very fat and your trousers keep falling down.
I'm just a bit surprised, at all. When I said spit it out, I wasn't expecting you to say you were shagging my wife.
Hello, is that Mr. Chang? We need to change your appointment. No, we can do 2:15 or 2:45.
Welcome to Dick Van Dyke, the dentist. I'm afraid it's worse than bad breath. You've got supercalifragilisticextreme-halitosis.
I wouldn't say that your root canal is in a bad way, but I've just found a shopping trolley in it.
Do you want a lollipop for being such a brave boy? Of course you do. That's why your teeth look like cheesy Wotsits, you little prick.
And now, if you inhale the gas and try and guess what I had for breakfast.
Yep, you're right. They are false. Had a good feel while she was unconscious.
No, don't worry. That's not the sound of the drill. It's just that my receptionist's a Scouser.
The dental hygienist will see you soon. She's just going for a shit.
Upper right 6, lower left 7. Sorry, I'll be with you as soon as I finish this game of battleships.
Can I think of a celebrity whose veneers I'd like to copy? Probably Princess Monaco of Kent.
Why do I want a crown? Well, I'm Princess Monaco of Kent.
This is most unusual, madam. You don't seem to have any teeth at all. What's that? You here for a smear test? That's next door.
OK, the next topic is... The next topic is unlikely lines from a children's book.
And Sleeping Beauty slept for 100 nights. In fairness, it had been a massive bender.
Ah, Black Beauty, she said. I'm glad I bought you rather than the rampant rabbit.
The dragon looked at him scarily. Little Hobbit stepped up to him and said, "Hello, I'm Josh Widdicombe."
I'm not doing the laugh. I'm not doing the laugh.
What big eyes you have, Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood. Yes, said Grandma. I'm off my tits on methamphetamine.
You do not like green eggs and ham? Well, tough. This is a Wetherspoons.
Mr. Toad, Ratty and Badger all went on an adventure in the motor car. Then Mr. Toad accidentally said something racist on camera and was on his final warning from the BBC.
I bet you wish you were like me. I fall over all the time and I never hurt myself, said Mr. Bounce. Oh, fuck off, said Mark Cavendish.
And behind the jumpers and the coats at the back of the wardrobe, there he was, Julian Assange.
I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow you for £5.
Well, what should we call our baby, said Mr. Dizzy. Ooh, let's think, said Miss Rascal.
Spot wondered why he'd been placed into the sack with the brick. But either way, this was going to be the best trip to the canal ever.
The Fat Controller went on a business strategy course. And from then on, he wanted to be known as the horizontally gifted Chief Operations Manager.
Well, Cinderella, she said, I'm your fairy princess, Princess Monaco of Kent.
Charlie couldn't believe he was being allowed into the chocolate factory. His girlfriend had been dead against it for years.
It was maybe because Mr. Tickle could reach around doorways and through windows that he came to the attention of Operation Yewtree.
And then you just have to try and pay your mortgage off before you die. Good night, son.
At the end of that round, the point's going to Robert, Hugh and Gary. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Andy Parsons, Tiff Stevenson and Josh Widdicombe. Commiserations to Ramesh Ranganathan, Hugh Dennis and Gary Delaney. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.